Welcome to your first stage check. Today, we'll be going over general information for the 102 Block 1 stage checks. This will give you information on what to expect and how to prepare. Keep in mind, for all stage checks, you're not expected to know everything. Overall knowledge and safety takes precedence over one wrong answer. Occasionally, things are allowed to be looked up during the oral. There are limitations to this though, and you should come well prepared for the oral and the flight. There are three possible outcomes for a stage check. Satisfactory. This is our goal. If you meet all standards listed in the TCO, your stage check will be satisfactory. Incomplete. If we need to stop for any reason, such as sickness, mechanical issues, or unforecasted weather, there will be no penalty for an incomplete. However, the stage check will have to be finished at a later time. Unsatisfactory. This is when we do not meet standards consistently throughout the stage check. Anytime a stage check is deemed unsatisfactory, the stage pilot will let you know right away. Keep in mind, rarely is an unsatisfactory performance based on a single item, but usually is a combination of multiple things adding up. We've created this series of videos for your 102 stage check to help you succeed. We won't be giving you the answers, but we'll give you some areas to focus on for studying. Let's get started. For the oral, you can expect it to last anywhere from 1 hour to an hour and a half. The first thing you'll do is the V-Speeds and emergency sheet. On this sheet, you'll be required to fill out all V-Speeds and a few emergencies completely from memory. This is your chance to get the examination started on a positive note, boosting your confidence and showing your stage check pilot you are prepared. Once the requested V-Speeds and emergency sheets are filled out, a discussion on them will begin. Be sure to know the definition of each V-Speed and why we do each item on the emergency checklist. For example, with the engine failure flight, why do we turn on the fuel pump switch? Your oral will include questions from the UND Safety Policies and Procedures on areas listed on the Block 1 study guide. Some example questions could be, at what temperature must I carry my winter boots, hats, and gloves? Who do I contact for a defrost? What call sign do I use when I operate solo? These questions will also focus on solo information, such as weather minimums, to solo the aircraft, and how much fuel reserve do I need to have on board when I land. Another area that will be tested is the federal regulations. These questions will come from Part 61 and Part 91, with an emphasis on student pilot information and solo operations. You do not need to have the regulation numbers memorized, but being familiar with the content and knowing how to find the regulations by using the index is important. A list of the common regulations that you will be asked about are on the study guide on the 102 workbook site. A guaranteed question is, what are your privileges and limitations as a student pilot? These need to be memorized. Stabilized approach and faulty approaches to landings will be another area tested. This should be an area you are very familiar with by the time your stage check arrives. As long as you are familiar with the UND standardization manual for stabilized approach and practice this on every landing, it should be no issue. Once again, the study guide on the 102 workbook site lists several questions that you may see as examples. For the faulty approach to landings, you should review the Airplane Flying Handbook section on this topic, Chapter 8. Being able to identify each type and the corrective action is important. Remember, whenever the landing is not stabilized, you should always go around and try again. A few questions about performance may be asked as well, relating to your takeoff and landing calculations. You will be asked to do a weight and balance by hand, so no use of aims. If you can demonstrate how to find all the numbers on the toll card, you are prepared. Now that we've talked about the oral, let's move on to the flight. Often, the oral and the flight will be attempted on the same day. The flight is simulating your solo to the practice area. You'll be departing from Grand Forks and going to a practice area of your choosing. Once you have successfully navigated to the practice area, you'll be required to accomplish a power off stall, a power on stall, as well as simulated engine failure. You will then be required to simulate an off-airport landing. During this part of the stage check, be sure to utilize checklists as time and altitude allows, and don't forget to always fly the airplane first. Your goal is to set up the airplane for a landing. This could be a road, field, or even an airport. After this, you'll need to navigate back to Grand Forks on your own, handling all radio calls as if you are flying a solo. A go-around is required to be demonstrated, as well as a normal landing. Standards for the flight are listed in the TCO at the beginning of Block 1. The safety of the flight is the most important aspect. Yes, we need to maintain altitude, airspeed, etc. within our standards, but we need to see good radio calls, navigation, and most importantly, a safe landing be performed. If at the end of the flight you meet the performance standards and the stage pilot feels a successful landing would occur, the stage check is now complete and satisfactory. Keep in mind, this is just an introduction to the stage check system. Your career as a professional aviator will be full of check rides, and we hope this video will help you feel prepared and be successful on your first stage check here at UND. Good luck, and we'll see you on the flight line. Good luck, we'll see you on the flight line. Good luck, and we'll see you on the flight line.